what's going on, guys? My name is Krin and welcome to my review on Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba. Warning, light spoilers ahead. Demon Slayer took the anime community by storm when it first released. Even now, a whole year later, it remains in the top 25 anime on my anime list. It's also on my personal top 10 list as well, in case you're wondering. As for the review portion of this video, you know the drill. We'll be going over story, art, sound, characters, my personal enjoyment and overall score, and an end portion at the end for some other things I'd like to talk about. So without further ado, let's get straight into the review. Starting out, we've got the story, which I rated a 10 out of 10. The series started out with an incredibly strong exposition, which introduced us to the two big main characters, as well as a side character that will appear later on in the story, Tanjiro, Nezuko, and Giyu. I'll go more in depth on these characters later. As for how they were introduced, I think it was executed flawlessly. Tanjiro comes home to find out that most of his family has been killed by a demon, and the only remaining member, Nezuko, has turned into a demon herself. This creates an excellent driving force for Tanjiro's actions, that being the desire to find and kill Kibutsuji, the first demon and the one who can turn humans into demons, so he can turn Nezuko back into normal. As for the rest of the story up to this point, a lot of it goes back to Tanjiro wanting to find Kibutsuji, though he also wants to help get rid of the demons who are tormenting humans. Aside from those tidbits, it's a fairly standard shonen fighting anime in terms of story. The takeaway for this section is the motivation behind Tanjiro's actions, as well as the strong starting point and driving force in the story. Next, onto the art, which is a definite 10 out of 10. Anyone who has seen Demon Slayer will agree that the art in this series is absolutely beautiful. The color scheme in particular stands out to me. In action scenes especially, the colors of Tanjiro's water-breathing stances are gorgeous. And don't even get me started on episode 19. Which, by the way, will pop up a few times later in this video. The final charge Tanjiro takes against Ruri showcases his 10th water-breathing stance, and when he gets close enough to slice Ruri's neck off, the colors are jaw-dropping. The choreography for the fight, all the fights in general really, is also very well executed. Aside from that, the mix of CGI, while not perfect, certainly added to a few of the scenes, which not a lot of CGI anime can really say. Exceptional job done by Studio Ufotable. On to the sound portion, which I rated a 10 out of 10. The voice actors are great. I didn't really have any problem with any of them. The sound effects are also really nice. Openings and endings are great. Having Lisa sing for the opening is always cool to see. She's a great artist. What stuck out the most for sound for me is the background music in the battle scenes. Specifically, the fight with Rui. The background music that they used for that fight was composed so well. I love how the music matched what was happening in the fight. The composition of the music is also phenomenal. The quieter moments are played out really well, and the triumphant moments are awe-inspiring. I actually teared up in that scene, by the way, because the music was so beautifully done. So the sound gets a 10 out of 10 from me. Now we have characters, which is an absolute 10 out of 10. The depth and backstories of all the characters are so rich and skillfully portrayed. Tanjiro, for instance, has a reason behind each and every action he takes, largely due to what happened when he revived back to his house to find his family eaten by demons. It's a traumatic experience which he uses as a motive for joining the Demon Slayer Corps. He doesn't want to see other people go through what he did. Then there's Zenitsu, who was brought up by an old man he simply refers to as Oji-chan, his grandfather, though not via blood or any other ties to his family. Zenitsu believes himself to be very weak, but Oji-chan thinks otherwise, and still decides to put Zenitsu through the hell that is Demon Slayer training. This results in Zenitsu becoming extremely powerful, even though he can only use the first form of lightning breathing, on top of not even knowing he's powerful, because his true potential comes out when he loses consciousness. Our heroes certainly have well-written backstories, but what about the villains? Well, they certainly don't fall short in that department either. Take Rui, one of the 12 Kizuki Tanjiro battles. He lived most of his life thinking his family didn't care for him. He even goes as far as killing them and recruiting other demons into his fabricated family, which in reality is nothing more than them playing house. In the climactic battle between Tanjiro, he eventually meets his end at the hands of Giyu. When he finally does bite the dust, it is revealed that his family didn't resent Rui for even a moment. On the contrary, they loved and cherished him to the point they were willing to literally be sent to hell in order to stay with Rui. Aside from the backstories, the characters' personalities are pretty cool and lead to some pretty hilarious interactions, like Inosuke and Zenitsu or Inosuke and Tanjiro. Basically any interaction with Inosuke is funny. Yeah, I quite like Inosuke. As for my personal enjoyment, I would say Demon Slayer is a 9 out of 10. I wasn't really feeling the first half all too much, so much so to the point that I actually dropped Demon Slayer on episode 8, back when I first started watching it, because I thought it was boring. When I picked it back up though, I soon realized my mistake. This show has a bit of everything from humor to fast-paced action scenes. Speaking of action scenes, episode 19's Rui vs. Tanjiro was jaw-droppingly good. It was flawlessly executed, and I cannot give enough praise for it. As an overall show, Demon Slayer is an absolute 10 out of 10 masterpiece. From the exciting story to the gorgeous visuals to the superbly written characters, this rating is no surprise. If you're a fan of action shows, no. If you're an anime watcher in general, I believe Demon Slayer is a must-watch. If you haven't watched it already, get on it. But that's going to wrap up today's review. Let me know your thoughts on the review or the show in the comment section, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe while you're at it. Also, I've been thinking about this channel and what I can do other than just reviews. I have a few ideas in mind, though they'll need a bit more work before I can release any details in the video. I've been playing a lot of Osu recently, so I could probably start streaming over there if you guys are into that. But if you have any suggestions for what I could do, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Also, before I go and wrap it up, I tried something a bit different this episode and wrote an actual script that I had to follow. I don't think it was executed too well, but just let me know what you thought in the comment section, as well as, suggesting some other stuff that I can do on the channel. But that'll be all from me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.